With every week we get closer to the Connect event where they'll probably announce the Quest 3, it seems like we keep getting more and more leaks and details about the Quest 3. The latest one here is a clip that you are seeing. This is likely a graphic from inside the Quest 3 that helps demonstrate how you will be mapping out your room to you, just like now when you set up a Quest 2, it shows you how you stoop down and put your controller to the floor to move the floor. This is showing how it's going to use the depth sensor to map out the room around you. Some interesting details to catch here though is this seems to automatically figure out what is a couch in the room and how to map it out to prevent occlusion and to even allow the little friend character to jump around on the couch. This is a big step up from the Quest 2 or even the Quest Pro that you have to map out the room around you and any sort of furniture objects yourself manually, and it never gives you quite the exact right dimensions, such as how a couch can have armrests. You can't really map that out currently on the Quest 2. You can just map out where the couch is. This is exciting as we had heard some details about a feature called Smart Guardian before that would essentially help you utilize the space potentially reaching above the couch, where before if you marked out furniture it just thought that whole area was a danger zone. We've seen some other headsets have a little bit smarter of mapping than we'd seen on the Quest, just like the PSVR 2, which doesn't actually have a depth sensor, but it was able to map out the environment around you and see what it was. This combined with the years of experience with Meta and the fact that it actually has the depth sensor that the Quest Pro had but got scrapped just before launch, this seems like the mapping of the environment should get it much more friendly and hopefully work a lot better. This will also be crucial for mixed reality experiences, as we're seeing here even in this demo. This could be crucial, of course, for mixed reality experiences that rely on your furniture, the room around you, or maybe even doorways to allow a game such as something where zombies walk through the door and come to attack you. We're still waiting for a lot of details about Quest 3, but Connect is now this month at least, so we're getting closer. With the Quest 3 now being potentially less than 6 weeks from launch, as we talked about in the last news clip, an October 10th release date may have been leaked by Amazon. We're hosting our first ever Quest 3 giveaway. Now, we've given away a lot of Quest 2s over the years. I don't know if we're still going to give away Quest 2s or if we can bump it up to Quest 3s from now on, but this giveaway just started a few days ago. If you want to get entered, make sure and just stick around till the end of the video. I'll give some more details and links to get back over to that other video and get entered in that Quest 3 giveaway. But I'm excited to be able to support the community that's supported us so much throughout the years. Thank you again. We're now into September, and September 27th is when the Meta Connect event is actually happening, but we have some big news as a channel. We've been personally invited to go attend Meta Connect in person. This is an absolutely huge honor, and I just feel so amazed that what we've done with the channel and all of your support has taken us to a point where Meta would actually like us to be there. If you haven't caught much of the Meta Connects in the past, usually the keynote is all we really stick around for. We live stream the keynote because the keynote's when they talk about what Meta plans to do over the next year, and usually when they announce their new hardware. It was where they announced the Quest Pro last year, the Quest 2 the year before that, and typically it's also when they opened up pre-orders, having the actual headsets ship about 2 weeks after the event. As I'll be there, I probably won't be able to live stream it with you this time, but maybe we'll be able to figure out something to make the channel still have a live stream even in my absence while it's happening. I'll have to talk to editor John about that and see. With that said, if you don't know what's going to happen, Connect 2023, it looks like it's probably going to be about Quest 3, also about mixed reality, AI, and all of the other buzzwords from the year that Meta wants to talk about. We'll see if the word metaverse still comes up as it did a few years ago, or if we kind of pivot more to talking about AI. We'll keep you posted here in the meantime about what ways you can watch, and if we can organize some kind of live stream here, we'll do it for you. If you peruse the MetaQuest subreddit or other areas about VR on the internet, you probably know that Meta avatars not having legs and hoping to get legs has become a bit of a meme. Well, guess what? They're finally getting legs. Weirdly, people have started to notice in the V57 public test channel, some avatars are showing up with legs, but only in the mirrors when you look at them or when you see other avatars. If you look down, you're still not seeing the legs for yourself. Obviously, legs are a good detail to add to the immersion of VR, and it's been a bit of a point of contention because a lot of games either only give you hands or give you hands and forearms, but legs aren't always present. Developers have cited that it is hard to map out what legs are doing or try to have predictive algorithms that help it match your legs since there is no leg tracking. We've seen a couple apps figure out some way to kind of figure out what your legs are doing. Supernatural, the VR fitness app, added knee kicks where you actually throw your knee up and you see it kick the target. Granted, it still doesn't show a leg, you just see the target break when you throw your knee. It's likely looking for some sort of of break in the lower camera view of the play space for when your knee pops up, but I found that there is ways to get around that by shaking the headset and other things. It seems to think that you are still doing the knee strikes. Either way, it shows we are on road to finally get those legs that Mark promised, but where the heck is GTA San Andreas in VR that we were promised years ago? Typing in VR has long been a point of contention, and Meta might actually be looking to replace those keyboards that we see floating around in VR or having to use an actual attached keyboard to a PC with virtual keyboards. Mark Zuckerberg actually posted a video to his personal Instagram profile showing clips of him and Meta's CTO Andrew Bosworth, aka Boz, trying this Surface-locked virtual keyboard that stayed in place in a Quest 2, and Boz reported hitting 119 words per minute. For those that don't know, that is extremely fast. Even for a typist, that is a really fast typing time. And I'd say these are good steps to show that maybe we're actually on road to get some better typing. Currently in VR, if you're trying to type on a virtual keyboard with each controller trigger just pointing and clicking, I swear you type maybe 10 words per minute. It's a terrible way to input anything. It would be hard for me personally to replace the tactile feel of a keyboard, but I'm curious how many of you out there would be willing to try this, and is it something that you could see actually replacing a keyboard if it really stayed in place and you could really type well on it? This brings us one step closer to that potential spatial computing we keep hearing Apple talking about, and if they could harness this with their headset that basically has a computer inside of it, maybe you wouldn't even need a laptop to attach it to or anything. If you're traveling, you could just do it all from inside the headset. I'm curious to see where this goes and what this means for the Quest 3 and the future of computing altogether. Speaking of Apple, Apple is reportedly testing new OLED microdisplay suppliers to help them with the constraints that they are dealing with getting their supply panels directly from Sony. We'd reported before that the Apple Vision Pro, each headset needs to use 2 different panels inside for the screens, and that Sony was the provider of all of them. Sony has a pretty hard limit of how many they can produce per year, so now it is reported that Apple is looking into other companies potentially to see if they can come up with panels as good as Sony's to help them get more of these headsets produced. If Apple can find another provider, it would not only mean they could produce more headsets faster, but it might also mean they'd be able to move forward to making a not Pro version if they're planning on that, to get more of these into more hands of people that can afford a headset that's a little less expensive than the $3,500 Apple Vision Pro. There are a lot of companies outside of Sony, including Samsung and LG, that do make panels, although an interesting fact if you don't know it, most iPhone panels are actually made by Samsung. I hope for the rollout and eventual success of Apple Vision Pro that they can find someone that can make panels as good as Sony, but this will be something we'll just have to keep a watch on and let you know more as we find it out. We just recently gave you an in-depth look at the Varjo Aero headset, and we were pretty impressed with what it could pull off at a very high price. Apparently the US Army is also impressed by Varjo because they've just signed a multi-million-dollar deal to provide headsets to them for Army training systems. Varjo announced they have closed this multi-million-dollar deal. Varjo didn't disclose exactly how many headsets this is, but estimates say it's probably somewhere around 300 headsets. Varjo has worked with all kinds of amazing corporations, military, even NASA before, so this is not unusual for them. Although hopefully this deal continues and goes better than when we saw the US Army actually went to use HoloLens technology as high-tech headsets for their soldiers, and then later on we saw that Congress stopped them from buying more headsets. Anytime we see VR getting mass adoption and getting used in training, it's good for the industry as a whole, and I'm excited to see this happening for Varjo. This year at a convention, we actually got to try the Magic Leap 2 AR headset, and it looked really promising and really cool, actually seeing how it could dim down for an immersive mode or let you completely see through and still see holograms in front of you. As that Magic Leap 2 is spreading, Magic Leap 1 is actually going to cease to function at the end of next year. Magic Leap recently announced in an email to people who had purchased its original headset that it will no longer be available for purchase, and it will continue to be supported through December 31st, 2024. Where we've seen other companies drop support for their headsets like the Oculus Rift CV1 or even the Oculus Quest 1, those headsets still usually continue to function, they just didn't get more security updates. A big difference here with the Magic Leap 1 is it will actually be bricked. Its core functionality will reach end of life and the Magic Leap 1 device and apps will cease to function. That might sound rough to anybody who bought these back in 2018, although the company was hoping to sell over 1 million units that first year and reportedly only sold about 6,000 units in its first 6 months. So luckily, it's not too many people overall that will be dealing with this. Magic Leap is still pushing forward with their Magic Leap 2, a $3,300 headset, so it seems like things may still be going well for them, but hopefully if you have a set of Magic Leap 1s, you're willing to just keep them as a memento of a time in technology and not hoping to use those after next year. AR contacts have been something in research, development, and even existence being tested at conventions for a couple of years now. One problem with something like a contact lens, not only does it need to be kept in your eye, it's very small, so it has very little room for a battery. Scientists have announced they're now working on smart contacts that could actually be powered by your tears. This contact would have an ultra thin battery that is flexible and as thin as the human cornea. The battery is capable of storing electricity when in contact with a saline source, which can be found obviously in your tears. If you ever tasted your tears, they're salty. This solution could actually extend battery life up to 4 hours for every 12-hour cycle. Another breakthrough in this is they are saying that these are all biocompatible materials, so there's no risk of anything toxic. Typically, common batteries in contact lenses did have metal electrodes. Although they were covered, they could be harmful to the eye if they somehow became exposed. The AR future is coming, seems to be upon us, and something interesting about contact lenses that I hadn't realized because I hadn't gotten to try these yet at any conventions, you will continue to see the AR even when you close your eyes. What do you think about that? Would you put an AR contact lens in your eye? Would you wear it all throughout the day? If we get as many annoying notifications on them as we get on our smartphones, I feel like that could just be awful. But let me know your thoughts and what's going on in the news. There's a lot of it this week, a lot to keep you tied up on, and of course we got more coming as we'll be at Connect later this month and so much happening with the Quest 3. I just can't say thank you enough. I can't believe we got invited to Connect. It's really cool. Again, the Quest 3 giveaway, I said there'd be some more details at the end, so I'll leave a link directly up here in the corner, and of course another link over here so that you can go check out that giveaway and get entered in that. Thank you again, and I will see you in another reality.